Hey, good morning, everyone. I have a tornado warning I wanted to get to here in Natchitoches Parish, leaving Sabine Parish, and I'm going to get you those details here in just a second. Kind of doing this on the fly here, so let's go ahead and zoom down on this one, see what we have here. Kind of an interesting setup with these stronger storms coming in on the backside, and this one exhibiting some pretty stout rotation here. This is moving toward Natchitoches, and you can see very clearly where that rotation is right there, and I'm getting into the details of this right now so I can get that to you. Just one second. Making sure everything's up here. Okay, Shreveport. So we have the tornado warning for west central Natchitoches and northeastern Sabine Parish. That's until 10:45 a.m. This potential tornado was located about 18 miles west of Natchitoches, 10 miles north of Manny, moving northeast at 25 miles per hour. And this is going to be near Allen, Roebeline, Marthaville, and Hayswood here over the next little bit. And you can see that the rotation is certainly noticeable here and really kind of peaked there in northeastern Sabine Parish. Let me go ahead and check the debris tracker, just make sure we don't have anything showing up here. And I did not see a confirmed tag on this, but I am going to put this in motion. No, not seeing anything confirmed out of this, but certainly a stout thunderstorm creating a tornado warning there in Natchitoches Parish. Let me go ahead and see what we have here. And just on another note here, at 9:26 a.m., there was a funnel cloud reported up around Shreveport. So we have seen some of these storms get pretty intense here. And now that I am looking at things here, I want to take a look at this other storm as well that's moving into western Vernon Parish. Not seeing any significant rotation with that right now. Let me take a look up higher in that Shreveport radar. And yeah, you can see there that there is most certainly a mesocyclone there. There is that rotation. We also have that here moving across southern Toledo Bend. So this is one that we're going to be watching as well. Don't want to get tunnel vision ever, so we'll pop out here and see what we have going on. Right there, that is the storm we're looking at now as it's moving in toward Natchitoches. Another one that has at least mid-level rotation moving toward Anacoco. Let's go down and take a look and see, because I believe this radar is going to be closer to that. We're looking about 2,500 feet up. So getting a pretty good sampling of the lower levels. Of course, we want to see as low as possible into these storms as we can. And as of now, we can only get about 2,500 feet into that. So let me take a look at base velocity. It looks like this really tried to spin up here. Now heading in toward Roebeline, Hayswood, and then eventually down the road here toward Natchitoches, or just south of Natchitoches toward Natchez, Louisiana. And this is the area we are watching with greatest interest right now. Just going to check another scan of that. Good, not seeing anything touching down. Let's go in and show you the right along Highway 6. That's going to be your main issue here. This is coming in toward Roebeline. I think right now probably more of a straight line wind threat, but with that rotation 2,500 feet up, it's not going to take much to get this to spin down. So if you are out here in Roebeline along Highway 6 toward Hayswood, that is where the highest threat is going to be. And you see that's the southern edge of this tornado warning. Let me check that shear rate. Not seeing the reds, so that's good. The swath, I can see the trend on it. Yeah, so it was much stronger out to the west, so we're seeing that shear coming down a little bit. It doesn't mean that the threat is gone by any stretch, but it is something it's at least some sort of a bit of good news here. And I keep popping that up just to make sure we don't have any debris on this thing. Let me see something. Yeah. They're saying it's still, the warning's still there, the rotation's still there from Shreveport. It's not as tight as earlier. And sometimes I look at that stuff because I want to see for myself, many eyes helps. So if you have a lot of people looking at the same thing, that is good to go ahead and just get as many opinions as you can. Let me pull in closer on this. I will obsessively check that. And then your storm relative velocity. This is if you're riding along with the storm. How's that motion inside the storm? And there is at least some sort of circulation there aloft, 2,500 feet up. It's not incredibly strong. That doesn't mean that we can't have something going on beneath this. And let's see when this tornado warning is scheduled to be canceled. 10:45, so another 22 minutes. Yeah, overall, the storm has a better structure than what we'd seen earlier, so it could tighten back up. Yeah, it really has the look of a mini supercell, is what they're saying. And that is what we're seeing here. So, watching that one closely, watching this other one, making sure we don't have a warning pop on that. But as of now, we have that tornado warning in place for Natchitoches Parish. This is moving out of Sabine Parish in toward Natchitoches, and that is right over Roebeline, Shamrock, that area. The Highway 6 corridor, if you're within a few miles of that, from Roebeline to Hazelwood, and then eventually down the line toward Natchitoches, that is where this storm is currently spinning, and you can see that spin coming in right here, moving almost due east, maybe a little bit of a northern tilt to that, and you can see how that warning, this is really hugging that southern end. So if you're in Provençal, you want to go ahead and seek shelter as well. While it doesn't look quite as robust on the velocity scan, this is a pretty nice looking storm here. When we look at the reflectivity, a lot of heavy rainfall, lots of lightning, and that threat for a tornado with this storm as it continues on toward Natchitoches. If you're in Natchitoches proper, you're not in the warning. If you're out west a few miles, like I think the warning goes right up to the edge of Highway 49 there. So right at that exit. That's where the gas stations are and all that stuff, and you got a few miles to run into Natchitoches. So not in the tornado warning right now, but you want to keep a close eye on this. I know the folks at NSU are keeping a close eye on this as this rotation continues on toward the east. This doesn't jump out as strong tornado to me. This isn't something that's pegging my freak out meter right now, but you always want to go ahead and seek shelter when this stuff is happening. I'm looking at the Lake Charles radar now. Again, just to get different tilts on this stuff. Go over to Shreveport. But the main story here is a tornado warning, and this one I think really is telling the better story here. So we saw this really intensify. I'm going to get my cursor off of it. And then it looks like it's spun down or weakened a bit, but these things can cycle, and I think that is entirely possible with this, as this heads right down Highway 6. This is a favorite corridor for local storm chasers. It always seems like those storms are moving from Manny toward Natchitoches, and this one's certainly following that path from Roebeline toward Hazelwood, and I'm seeing if we have an update. We don't on that one. I'm checking another thing also. I want to make sure that Lake Charles, that we're not seeing a warning possibly coming out on that Lake Charles storm, not Lake Charles Weather Service office. And no, we are not. Alrighty. Going back to the current tornado warning that is moving toward Natchitoches. This is going to cross Highway 49 here in just a little bit. Looks a good bit weaker, and that's, of course, great news. Let me see here. Pause this. Just check that debris. Don't see anything. Well, that's a different radar. I want to go back to the... There we go. That area north of Hazelwood, I don't think that's anything. We'll see how it's flowing here on the radar. That's not really lined up with where the rotation is, which is going to be further south here on that southern edge. So I think that's just a weird little artifact on radar showing up. This warned area, it looks like the southern edge of that warning is going to be where we have the highest chance for some issues here. Again, right along Highway 6, Roebeline to Hazelwood. There's your rotation in Roebeline or over Roebeline. I shouldn't say in, because it is going to be above ground right now from all indications here. Let me see on reflectivity. But yeah, you're probably just seeing some light rain there around Hazelwood. You're probably hearing some thunder coming in because there's the lightning. Boom. And this storm will continue on a east or slightly north of east track as it continues toward Natchitoches here, and hopefully that warning will get canceled shortly. But it doesn't seem that way with what they're talking about here on the chat, at least. So if you are anywhere between Roebeline and Natchitoches, you may not be explicitly in this warning. But even if you're south of Highway 6 and you haven't gotten that notification, I could see them kind of redrawing this warning, at least as a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning, as this storm continues to kind of turn a little more toward the right here. I'm watching this. This is for Natchitoches Parish. It looks like the threat is now exiting Sabine Parish. No other warnings in place right now, but we do have these stronger storms very oddly placed here on the western side of the big heavy rain shield. So looking at the big picture, strong storms down south. We have some strong storms feeding into the western side of this, and one tornado warning, which is a little bit surprising. I'm not going to lie. I didn't think we were going to see a tornado warning today. So I'm watching 19 different things here. If you have any, Colfax down the line, you're gonna see storms. You're gonna continue to see that, and you probably see something pick up a little bit later with this system right here. But you're not in line for this one. Hold on, let me put the velocity back up. Keep an eye on that. And again, this is riding along with the storm. We are seeing at least some circulation aloft. Let me check Shreveport and see how that's looking. Yeah, and it's just going to change colors because the wind is going to be oriented in a different direction toward that radar, and that update there does not show me anything too terribly scary from the Shreveport radar. Checking out Lake Charles, not seeing anything there. Fort Johnson, just that area of rotation that is fortunately weakening. And from Shreveport, it looks like it's starting to bow out and gust out now. If this trend continues, we may be able to cancel the warning. We are not canceling the warning yet, though. So I just like to give a little bit of encouragement. I mean, everything is not gloom and doom. Every tornado warning doesn't mean there's going to be an EF5 coming through your neighborhood. But it is a good thing to take these precautions. Be careful as this tornado-warned storm continues on toward the east. It looks like some big rain about to hit Natchitoches probably in 10-15 minutes. This thing's not in a massive hurry, so you could see some street flooding issues, but our main concern right now is that tornado warning as this storm continues on to the east, with the worst of it right along Highway 6 and about to cross 49. So if you are listening in the car, you're driving, say you're at the Cypress exit, you're heading northwest toward this, you may want to pull off for a little bit, just let this go by, because look behind it. Pretty nice day out there, not a lot of rain falling. So let this one pass. You don't want to be hanging out on the highway in the warning, but it's going to be nasty. At the very least, we're going to see some gusty wind out there. Yeah, Dan, I know. I saw you in the chat too. It looks like it's weakening a little bit, but yeah, you guys want to be careful up that way. Here's your latest velocity scan. Still seeing some rotation. Does look like we are seeing this gust out a little bit because we're not seeing the real tight rotation in here. We never really saw it really tightened up like gate to gate, where we see 80 miles an hour one way and 80 miles an hour another way over one little pixel, and you can see how small these pixels are. When we have a well-defined tornado, that's what we'll see. And we have not seen anything drop out here on the debris tracker, so good news there. Hopefully this thing did not... and they canceled the warning. There we go. All right. Excellent. So tornado warning canceled. Still watching this storm. Let's take a look at that. Let's go from here to Shreveport was really telling the story a little better. Okay, so when I say telling the story better, I'm saying I want to look a little higher into these storms just to see if we're getting that rotation aloft, because that's typically what you're going to need to see. And then that can spin down. You can see why they issued that tornado warning. We had the red and green really come together. Now it looks like that's kind of curling up into the storm. Do we get another little rotation area to form down here? Well, we're going to keep an eye on that for you, of course. But right now, not seeing anything imminent. So since the tornado warning is now canceled, and we just have this heavy rain kind of lurking over the area, only at 0.38 inches. Haven't seen a ton here at the house. Certainly manageable. But we are going to be watching any of these backside cells that decide to misbehave, and Tom and I will be here to take care of you and get the warnings out to you. They'll go automated to social media, and we'll be on TV here, or whatever you call this, on your screen as fast as we can. All right, I will come back should we see any more warnings, but for now, I'm going to get on out of here.